What's up guys, Learning with Rich here. In this video, we are going to create ductwork to physically connect system components. Okay, so this workflow is Revit recommended practice during the early design phase of the project. Okay, so in this exercise, we're going to use the system browser again to validate the systems. So this is the continuation of our exercise from last video wherein we have created how to create system. Okay, so let me just open again my system browser. So as you can see, I have here my mechanical system, okay, which is this one. All right, so we are going to create a ductwork to physically connect these components. Okay, so again, you can always use your own project to apply this knowledge that I'm sharing right now. So feel free to try this with your own project, or if you'd like to support me, you can avail the exact exercise files that I'm using right now. So you can check the video description. So I have included a link there to avail the files. Okay, so let's create or add ductwork using generate layout tool. So we're going to do it automatically, and then after that, on the next video, I'm going to show you the basic way on how to manually create your ductwork. All right, so what we are going to do first is select any of the component that is part of the system. Okay, so you just need to select any. So like for example, this one. So this is included to the system. So once you select that one, so here on the layout panel, so you can see there's a generate layout, right? So let's click that one. And then you will be going to generate layout tab. And then solutions is highlighted. So for the solution, if you look at the options bar, so you have solution type here, and then you have network. So you actually have three solution type here, which is network. So you also have perimeter, and then you also have the intersection layout or solution type. So each solution type consists several solutions. So like for example, for network, I have 6 solutions. So that's 1 of 6. This is 2 of 6. This is 3 of 6, 4 of 6, 5 of 6, and then 6 of 6. And then for the perimeter, so I have 5 solution here. Okay, and then for the intersections, so I have 3 solution here. Okay, so most of the time, I use network. All right, so I have network here. So I'll just use 1 of 6. Okay, and then if you will notice, so I have here like colored, it's like an orange. So there's an issue here. So probably it's because of the height of this duct here that will be created. So that's why we need to modify that. Now you see there's a color blue line here. That is your main duct. Okay, so if it is colored green, that is your branch duct. Okay, blue main, green branch, orange color, there's an issue for that one. So that's why what we're going to do before we finish the layout, so we are going to modify it. So I'm going to change the settings here. So there's a settings. So let's go to that settings. And then we are going to modify the main duct here. So duct conversion settings, main duct. So for the duct type, I do not want to use the round duct tees. So I want to change that as rectangular duct mitered elbows tees. So I select that one. And then for the offset, so maybe I'm going to change the height here. I'm going to make it 10.5. Oops. All right, so 10.5. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to apply this to other duct. Okay, so I select that one, copy, and then that's the settings for my main duct, the blue line here. Okay, and now for the branch, which is the green pipe or the green duct. So let's go to branch. So let's change the duct type again. So I'm gonna change that to rectangular duct mitered elbows tees. And then for the offset, same as my main. And then for the flex duct, so there's no flex duct. So let's change that one and apply my flex duct round, flex round. Okay, and then for the maximum flex duct length, so instead of 6 feet, I'll just make it 3 feet. Okay, and then after that, I'm going to select here, okay, and then look what will happen here on my current layout. So I'll select here, okay. There you go. So the green, the orange color disappeared, so it becomes blue now. So that means the height, there's a height issue here, so it's already fixed after we modify it from the settings here. Okay, and now I do not want my element to be placed over my, it looks like these are lighting fixtures. So I'm going to move this main duct, so maybe somewhere here. So to modify it, so let's go to edit layout. So let's click this one. And then you can see your pointer becomes like a pointer with a lens, magnifying lens. So we can click one of the pipe here or one of the duct main. Let's click that, and then you see there's a move icon. So I'm going to hold that and then drag. So maybe I'll just put it just somewhere there. Okay. All right. And then after that, so we are now going to finish this one. Just be careful not to drag the main duct too close to the diffusers. Okay, so if there is not enough room for the software to create the necessary fittings, so what will happen is you'll get an error in a later step. So that's why don't move this very close to your supply diffuser. Okay, and then after that, we're going to finish it. So let's select here, finish, click that. There you go. So there's no issue. So there is no error. Because if there's an error, so there's usually a message that will pop up somewhere here. Okay, so now there's no error. All right. So because errors may occur while attempting to create the duct geometry as a result of converting a layout or during sizing. So the most common cause of these errors is that the duct usually has insufficient space to be created, or offset elevations are incorrect. So that's why it's also important to specify the height of your duct. So what you do, either to relocate the system components manually or select a different layout solution or manually modify the ductwork or the duct. So remember to always check the duct connectivity after modification. Okay? Right. So the next thing that we are going to do here is, oh, by the way, this ductwork is not included here on the system browser, okay? Because that is a physical, so it's not a logical connection. So this is a physical connection. That's why this ductwork will not be placed here on your system browser, okay? You can delete this ductwork and then your system browser is still okay, okay? It will still remain. Now, the next thing that we are going to do here is we're going to add a color scheme legend, okay? So we're going to add a color scheme legend. But before that, another technique for you to be able to check if your physical connection is connected properly. Okay, so if you want to check that, you just need to hover your pointer. Do not click, just move your pointer over the duct or pipe and then press tab. And then press tab again. And then as you can see, it will highlight the connection. So if you press tab again, the third time, it will select the entire network, including the mechanical equipment. Okay, so let me do it again. So hover your pointer, press tab once. Okay, so the first time you press tab, the branch to which the duct is connected highlights, right? So as you can see, it turns, it highlighted as a green. Now, the second time you highlight, the entire network of connected ducts up to the first piece of connected equipment will be highlighted. Okay, as you can see, it now highlights except for the equipment. Okay, now if I'm going to press the tab again the third time, so it will now highlight the entire network of connected ducts, fittings, and equipment. Okay, So as you can see, it highlights, so meaning to say my model is properly connected. So that's how you check if your elements are connected. So this connection, or let's say for example, if one of the element there is not highlighted, like one of the air terminal is not highlighted, so meaning there's a disconnection. So you need to connect that manually. So usually you can repair the connection by dragging the duct segment to the end point of the duct, and then drag it to your air terminal, for example. Okay? So usually, typically, the disconnects results from not having enough room between the components to make the connection. All right? So in our case, so it's all connected. Okay? So now, what we are going to do next is we're going to create a color scheme or add a color scheme legend. So we are going to put it somewhere here. All right? So to do that, let's go to Analyze tab, and then you can see Color Fill. So we're going to select here Duct Legend. Okay, so let's click this one, and then we're going to place it here. And then for the color scheme, I'm going to select here Duct Color Fill by Flow. So let's click that, and then select OK. And there you go. So these colors are by flow. Okay. But this one is too long. So what we are going to do here is I'm going to select the Duct Color Fill Legend, and then we're going to edit that. And then from the graphics, instead of showing all the values, because it's selected all, so let's click the drop down here and then just select by view, so that it will only show the colors that is actually in our layout. Okay, so let's select here OK, and that's it. So I only have here 4 values, so 485, 850, 1700, 2125. So that's the colors that I have here. Okay, so that's how you modify the legend display. Okay, now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to modify the flow values. Okay, so how to do that? So let me just drag this. Oh, let me just adjust this one, and then I'll just put it here, just beside. Okay. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to select one of the supply diffusers. So let's say, for example, this one. So this one has a flow of 425. So let's change this. So let's say I'm just going to make it 300. So 100 less. Okay, so 325, and then look what will happen on my colors. There you go. See? Now change. And it updates. Right, so it updates now. So there's an additional color that was added. Okay, so every time you do that, the color fill will be updated. Okay, so now the next thing that we're going to do, instead of showing the flow colors, so let us modify our duct color fill legend. Okay, so to do that, so let's just click it, and then select Edit Scheme. Okay, and then here on my category, select Duct. Anyway, Duct is already selected. So let's change this. So I'm going to select here by velocity. Okay, so we are using a velocity-based color scheme as a visual reference to confirm that air is flowing through the system ductwork at a appropriate velocity. So we can do this. Okay, so let's click this one, and then after that, I'm going to select here OK, and there you go. So this now is showing the velocity. Okay, velocity-based color fill legend. Okay, and another thing that you can do after you create the connection, the physical connection or the ductwork of your design, you can calculate the duct sizes. Okay, so you can calculate it. So to do that, so I'm going to highlight the connection. So I'm going to hover my pointer, and then I'm going to press tab 3 times. 1, 2, 3 to select the connection, the duct network, and then click to select. So what we are going to do next is we are going to calculate the duct sizes. Okay, so here on the analysis panel, you see there's this duct pipe sizing. So we are going to use this tool. So we're going to do a duct sizing because we are selecting a duct. So if it is a pipe, automatically it will show as the pipe sizing dialog box. So let's click this one, and it will show us the duct sizing. And then these are the sizing methods that we can use. Okay, so sizing methods, so we have by friction, by velocity, equal friction, static regain. Okay, so since I'm not a designer, I'm not really sure the best sizing method for this one, and I can't explain this thoroughly because I'm not a mechanical engineer. But for this exercise, I'm going to use here friction. So I want that to be friction based. And then let's say I want to change this. So instead of 0.1, I'm going to make it like 0.08. Okay. And then I want to size this duct using only the friction method, because you can select end. So that means friction and then velocity. Or you can also use the or, which is friction with this value or velocity with this value, which is better. Or Revit will select which is better between friction or velocity. Or you want that to be combined or just only. So I want that to be computed only. And then for the constraint here, I'm going to change it calculated size only. And then I want to restrict the height of my duct up to 16 inches only. So there's the restriction of the height of my duct. So 16 inches, and then it will just adjust the width. Okay, and then after that, I'm going to select here OK. So if you get an error that there is not enough room to place the required fittings, so you need to modify the layout manually. Okay, so I'm going to select here OK, and then let's proceed on computing automatically the duct sizing. So look what will happen here. So I select here OK. Loading. There you go. So there's no error. Okay, so there's no error. So as you can see, it's now computed nicely. Okay, so I have the green that has 800 to 1200 flow velocity, and then I have this bluish here, which is less than 800. Okay, so as you can see, the ductwork and fittings are updated. So the flow information graphically represents the properties of duct system so that you can easily identify the problem with the system. Okay. So now, another thing that you can do is after you duct sizing, you can also inspect the system. We have this tool that is called System Inspector. Okay, so the System Inspector is a tool that lets you place the cursor over a duct or a system, okay, to inspect it's for airflow, pressure, or pressure loss. So using the System Inspector, you can target the problem areas directly in your design, and if you want, you can resolve it. Okay, so how to do that? So how to do the System Inspector? Okay, so do that, you just need to select one of the duct in our system or one of the pipe in our system. Okay, so let's say I'm going to select this duct here. So I select this duct, and then you see there's an analysis here. Okay, and then that's your System Inspector. So it displays flow information for the piping or ductwork in a selected system. Okay, so let's click this one. right? And then after that, you see my pointer here. I'm going to select from the system inspector. So there's the inspect tool here. I just moved it here. So inspect, click, and then this is now my pointer. And then you also notice there's an arrow flow on my ductwork here. So there's a red and then there's a color blue. Okay. So if I move my pointer to the duct, you see there's the information of that particular segment. So there is a pressure loss on this particular segment of 0.01 and then static pressure. And you can also see the flow, 850. Now, if I move somewhere here, so it's good here. So there's no pressure loss. Okay. So same here. So there's no pressure loss. And then you can see also there's an arrow, red. And then there's also an arrow here, blue. Okay. So as you inspect the system, so remember that all information is color coded according to the pressure. So as you can see, there's a red. So if it is red, so red information and arrows indicate the higher percentage of pressure loss due to friction, which is sometimes we called as the critical path. Okay, so if it is colored blue like this one, you see this one, it's not the critical path because you see it's colored blue. The information is blue and then the arrow is also blue. So no issue here, but you see there's a red arrow there, and then if I move my pointer, it's colored red. So red information and arrows indicate the highest percentage of pressure loss due to friction in this particular instance of our design. Okay, so that's your system inspector, which is useful on your design. Okay, so let me just finish this one. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my pointer here and then select the connection. And then after that, let's see this in the 3D view. So let's see the selection box. There you go. So this is now my design. Okay. So I'll just use this one, tile views. Let's close the system browser. There you go. Right. So on our next video, we are going to manually create ductwork. Okay, but for now, that's it for this exercise. So hopefully you learned something from this video. Thank you for watching, guys. Have a nice day.